When it comes to content creation, there is no subject for which I have created more than the 2005 video game Shadow the Hedgehog. From recording boss speedruns on a terrible digital camera to writing blog posts on Screw Attack, this game has stuck with me throughout the years. I've even talked about it on this YouTube channel from time to time. But there is one question that everyone has wondered, but we have never gotten a solid answer for. What officially happened when the Black Arms invaded Earth? The actual official answer we may never know, but here's the closest I have postulated. Shadow the Hedgehog tries to maintain a coherent story no matter which of the 326 routes you take. Tries being the most important word. For instance, it is impossible to see this cutscene without Dr. Eggman appearing at least once.
These memories, the Doctor's actions and words, nothing makes sense.
Here is a diagram showing Eggman encounters you might have reaching this cutscene. Now let's contrast that with another possible route. You can do normal, normal, dark, normal, normal, hero, and never see Eggman throughout the entire story when suddenly...
Shadow! Surprise, motherfucker!
He's the final boss. The game really does try though. If you do Airfleet Dark, you won't get the cutscene of the White House being shot by the Eclipse cannon, and the President's injuries will be from the escape pod instead. If you do Space Gadget Hero, you will have a flashback cutscene of Shadow's last moments with Maria. If you do Dark Space Gadget instead, Shadow will consider himself to be a copy of the Hedgehog who died in Sonic Adventure 2. These are both highlighted in the cutscene before Space Gadget, where Shadow mentions both himself and Maria having died. But let's focus on the meat of this video and the reason why you clicked on it. Which route is the closest to being canon? There are two safe assumptions we can take while figuring out the ending. 1. Cutscenes that happen in every route are canon. 2. The last story and all of its contents are canon. With that in mind, the starting cutscene begins. Shadow is talking to himself when the Black Arms attack. Black Doom tells him to bring the Chaos Emeralds, and Shadow says his past must be linked to those 7 stones, so he's going to get them one way or the other. He isn't quite sure what he's going to do with them once he has them yet. Pop quiz. Which mission do you think Shadow did in Westopolis? A. Dark, B. Normal, or C. Hero? I have 3 reasons to believe Shadow started his story off strong by going dark. First, in the intro cutscene, Shadow shows immediate disdain for humans and almost never went to Westopolis were it not for Black Doom. Second, Shadow says this line in the opening cutscene.
If he says he knows the truth about who I am, then like it or not, I have to believe him.
This implies he is going to work with Black Doom no matter what. Third, remember how I said all cutscenes that happen in every route are canon? Aside from the intro, there are 2 others. These are the gun military base and the President's cutscenes. For the former, they say,
downtown Westopolis has been almost completely destroyed.
Which would likely not be true if Shadow were to fight against the Black Arms instead of actively harming humans. Additionally, in the President's cutscene, the Secretary says this line.
There's also reports that the CIA's mainframe has been compromised.
That implies that Digital Circuit, the mission you can only unlock if you go dark in Westopolis, happened. If you go normal or hero, Black Doom is too busy with other things to commit cyber terrorism. Now in Digital Circuit, Shadow works with Rouge and obtains the Chaos Emerald. This is because of events in later levels that must have happened. But what about the confirmed CIA mainframe attack? It is possible that the Black Arms, when they go into cyberspace, are able to destroy it without Shadow's help. Up next is Prison Island, the same one from Sonic Adventure 2. Shadow has a flashback about escaping from somewhere. This will come up later in our canon playthrough. So Shadow is on Prison Island, and he helps Charmy get the top secret discs that are scattered across the level. I think this because of what Team Chaotix does in the last story, which enables them to see the message Professor Gerald left to Shadow before he snapped. But only part of the data is with Gun, the rest is with Eggman. In order for Team Chaotix to get it, they need to hack into Eggman's database. Or, with the help of Shadow, a well-placed karate chop. It was already established in Digital Circuit that going into cyberspace is a thing in the Sonic universe, and Team Chaotix would have never gotten the information they needed without Shadow's help. Not just getting into Eggman's system, but also collecting the fragmented data. There is then a cutscene where Eggman finds Shadow in SBO, to which Eggman says Shadow has no past. This is vital to a specific scene that happens in the last story, so keep it in your back pocket. The next cutscene involves Shadow going up with Sonic into outer space. Sonic says this line,
Looks like those black creatures are headed out to space. We're on our way to the Ark, so I guess that means we're going too.
Which is technically accurate, but a little weird. My friends are going to Florida. I am going to Disney World, so I guess I'm going to Florida too. Then this next cutscene happens, and yes, this line is canon.
This is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me.
This line is often misconstrued, saying that Shadow would literally take candy from a baby, but it is figurative language. If I said it were fine by me that a task were like shooting fish in a barrel, that doesn't mean that I'm about to go grab an AR-15 and aim at one such container. This cutscene also demonstrates Shadow's anti-hero nature, and how, while he is a good boy at heart, his methods are much more crass than Sonic's. So then an alarm triggers, which activates a memory in Shadow's brain, which he plays out through a flashback. I can imagine Sonic's crew hearing the alarm, going to check on the Chaos Emerald, and see Shadow standing there drooling as he goes through the memory. In any case, Shadow experiences more memories with Maria, and says he will do whatever it takes to protect the Professor and the Ark, which in this case entails hunting artificial chaos. Chaoses? What's the plural for that? Anyways, Shadow's flashback ends with Maria, on the verge of contracting the incurable disease known as death, ejecting Shadow from the Ark, circling back to the memory he had on Prison Island. The place he escaped from was the Ark, which is also confirmed from Sonic Adventure 2. Shadow then, with Sonic, goes onto the Black Comet and confronts Black Doom with his memories regarding Maria. He defeats Black Doom and obtains all 7 Chaos Emeralds. Black Doom says the Black Arms will rise again and retreats for a short time. This sets up for the final act, the last story. For the route I found to be canon, the events in the last story have to support it. In our route, Shadow remembers Maria and hears a similar line from her that he remembers in the last story.
Please help me, Shadow.
It is not the exact same wording, but paraphrasing. Additionally, the Chaotix are able to get the video file of Professor Gerald working, which was likely data owned by both Gunn and Eggman. Finally, there is one line that Eggman says that most people do not get to hear because the Devil Doom fight happens far too quickly. In it, he says that what he said to Shadow earlier, about having no past, is a lie. The Shadow we have been playing as is the Shadow Hedgehog. There is one last thing I want to bring up that supports my case for this route. Sonic Twitter takeovers. Their canonicity, is that a word? How canon they are is debatable, but they are established upon canon. In them, Shadow brings up events from Sonic Adventure 2, his time on the Ark, and Maria.
I'm volunteering at the local soup kitchen. I've been thinking a lot lately about what Maria would have wanted.
This implies that, while he considers all of that to be a past life and has no personal attachment to it, he still has those memories back, which we also worked into our route by going to Prison Island and Lost Impact. The name of the route we just did? For Love's Sake. Some people say this is in direct reference to Rouge changing Shadow's mind, but I think it has more to do with Maria loving the planet and Shadow not letting Black Doom destroy it. Of course, all of this is strictly conjecture. Do you have a case for a different route? I would love to hear it in the comments below. I'm Gaming Top 10, and Shadow says damn only once in the canon playthrough.
I transported this brilliant flying fortress to this planet over 2,000 years ago.
Wait, does that mean there's a chance that Black Doom met Jesus?